Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these. These funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy. They are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny. Listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
Hello and welcome to episode 125 of the Jeff Van Gundy NBA Tribute Show. My name is Marco. I'm joined by my co-host with the most, Lucas.
Marco, hello. How are you today?
Yeah, all right.
EP 125. It actually feels very recently that we had EP 100.
Does it?
But it was, in fact, half a year ago now.
Really?
Probably a little bit more.
I reckon. It feels like ages ago for me. It feels like a lot's happened, you know.
What do we do for 120? 100.
We had the really silly one on the couch at the Hammer, and I was going to the JPEG Mafia concert afterwards.
Oh my god, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
That was so long
ago. It was
ago.
like just easily one of the silliest episodes we've ever done.
Yeah,
I don't think we talked about anything.
100%.
Yeah.
I just burped. My mouth smells awful.
Why would that be?
Because we had
a bit
Aljana.
Garlicky, maybe.
Massively garlicky. Yeah, we had Aljana pre-recording. We probably started eating at about 6:15 Eastern. It's now 7:49 Eastern. So I feel as though we passed the initial wave of the, like, you know how, like, when we get Crocs from Easter, it wipes you out for the night. EJ's wipes you out, I reckon, for about an hour.
Yeah. I still don't feel...
I don't feel hot.
I don't feel amazing.
I actually do feel warm.
Yeah, I'm feeling quite warm.
Like like there's a buzz inside my skin.
Yeah, my tummy's a bit whatever, you know.
Yeah, that is also, I mean, trademark of Aljana is like,
oh my god,
just some sort of wobbly sausage inside you.
Yeah.
Is small or large intestine.
And you reckon it's the garlic? I've never thought about it like that.
I don't know why I think it's the garlic. I think it's because we get the garlic every time, and I feel the same every time.
I would tend to agree with you though. I think garlic, it just irritates you, you know?
Yeah, it is an irritant.
It is an irritant.
Garlic, the younger sibling of the bulb family.
Is it the youngest or just one of the younger ones?
How could I possibly...
How could I possibly tell you?
How could I know that?
You said it.
What else is in the bulb family? Leeks?
Onions in the bulb family?
I'd assume so.
Leeks?
Wait, is there a bulb family?
Spring onions?
Oh, lights.
Wait.
Bulbs. Bulbs plants. Here we go. We are 2 minutes in.
I don't think I can name any other bulbs.
Anemone. Looks like garlic.
Anemone.
Muscari. Grape hyacinth.
Oh my god, there's like a graph.
Narcissus. Daffodils.
Oh, large. I know small alliums and large alliums. Yeah.
Tulips.
No, I think these are different types of
Wait a
onions.
second. What the heck is
I think
this
you're looking
shit?
at different brands of onions.
Oh, here we go. Planting depth for popular fall planted bulbs.
But
And this is how deep you want to plant them.
Shallots?
Shallots gotta be up there.
They gotta be up there in the bulb
One of the
family.
youngest bulbs.
Alright. Start bench cut. Garlic, onion, shallot.
Oh man, that's a good one. I think shallot's got to get cut.
Really?
Yeah.
I reckon I start garlic, bench shallot, cut onion.
Oh,
Anything that you have onion in.
usually I dice onion. But
That was good. That was
no,
really good.
I think you know, over the course of like an 82 game season, you know, garlic and onion would probably do more.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. But
I think
I think shallot can be in kind of any situation that onion can be. Like,
I was gonna say, I think that if shallot's part of the rotation, I think shallot starts.
you think you start shallot, bench garlic?
Bench either garlic or onion.
Wow.
Because shallot can pop.
Shallot's got to have the ball in its hand.
Yeah, exactly. Can't really share the court with anyone else.
I mean, I disagree with that analogy, but it is funny, so let's
leave it in.
Let's leave it in. I won't cut that out later.
So we got a bit of a fun one in the end. Not really. We've got a bit more of an analysis one ahead, I feel, than we have over the past, I want to say 6 weeks.
Yeah.
However, I did have a little bit of trivia for the start of the episode. We talked a bit about Heaves last week.
Yeah.
And I finally found out that you can look at Heaves.
And the league leaders of.
League leaders in Heaves on Basketball Reference. If you go to the shooting page, which is under seasons, and then you want to go to ... at the very end of like the season options, and then when you go to the ... page, you can then find shooting somehow.
Yeah.
I don't recall exactly how.
But somehow.
And I just wanted to ask you who you think is leading the league in Heaves this season. Or just give me or we could do top 5 if you want to give me some of your top 5.
Well, I want to throw Steph Curry in there.
Even though he's played, limited games.
But I think it's almost like you almost need to have him heave like once a game, basically.
Yeah, you want it.
Because he might get it.
Yeah, he might. He just might.
I want to put
But I will let you know he is top.
No.
He is leading the league in Heaves.
Damn, despite being injured.
Having
for
played
the past
2/3 the amount of games of all the other players. Oh, not all the other players, but roundabouts 2/3 the amount of games of all the other 5 players.
Right.
4 players in the top 5.
I feel like Dylan Brooks would be in there for some reason.
Dylan Brooks is not in there, but he is up there. He's top 20.
He gives heave. He's giving heave.
He's heaving. He's dry reaching.
Are they good shooters or are they just fucking randoms?
I would say yes.
Donovan Mitchell?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Donovan Mitchell is one of the 5 players with at least 4 heaves this season.
Wow. God. I don't really know where to go next from here. Do you want to...
One of them is a teammate of Steph Curry's.
Oh. Jordan Poole?
Swaggy P is 3rd in the league for heaves.
I can actually picture that.
With 5.
Wow.
I feel like you won't get 4, but you might get 2. I'll give you 4 as Sadiq Bey.
Wow, really?
Yeah, with 4.
He does give heave as well.
Yeah. Number 2, one of the more efficient players in the league. One of the better teammates in the league.
One of the better teammates in the league.
And very efficient.
Very efficient. I don't know.
Bit of a young star. Bit of a would you rather him or LaMelo Ball.
Tyrese?
Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton.
Nice.
Also with 6 heaves. And of the top 5 players in heaves this season, Tyrese the only one to hit one.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
With 1.
What's that? How many heaves have been hit this season?
Oh my god.
In total?
Oh my god. Would you like to guess?
3.
2.
Wow.
So Tyrese Halliburton accounts for half of all heaves on the season.
Fucking, that's crazy. And to think Devontae Graham hit a game-winning heave last season. Just to think about that.
Just for a second.
Just to think about that for a second.
How many players do you think have heaved this season? At least once.
I want to say 40.
129.
129.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So
that checks out. I mean, considering I would heave at the end of every quarter in 2K, for example.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The fact that it's that low actually is surprising.
Yeah, well, I want to know what constitutes a heave first of all.
I think it's just from behind
the
court,
half.
isn't it? Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So anything, even if it looks like a heave or a bad shot from in the half court, would not be a heave by your logic.
Yeah. Well, by basketball references logic.
Yeah.
By the grand maestros at NBAstats.com or NBA.com/stats.
Before we move on to a little bit of 76ers talk, who do you reckon has hit the other heave this season?
I feel like I should know who it is. Like, I feel like they're quite memorable when they happen.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
No, I have no idea.
It's Vlatko Cancar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like I'm mispronouncing his name a little bit there, but shout out, keep balling out, my guy.
Yeah.
The 2022-23 Philadelphia 76ers. We talked a little bit about individual players and their individual brilliance last week, and I feel like teams that are breaking away have been breaking away over the past few weeks, and players that are establishing themselves in the MVP race or establishing themselves in the MVP race recently. Marco, what have you seen out of the 2022-23 Philadelphia 76ers lately that you've been liking?
Wait, was this on our run sheet?
Oh, was it?
No.
Not the Sixers?
Oh my god. This is hilarious. I thought you were doing a bit. I was for sure you were doing a bit.
Oh, no.
Remember, we were going to talk about the Nets and the Lakers.
Yeah, I prepared for that as well. But I also have a cool 343 words on the 76ers. But why don't we start with the Nets?
Well, let's start with the 76ers.
Oh, you're prepared
We're
for this?
here now.
Oh, are you actually prepared for this?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like they've kind of flown under the radar in the sense that they've been like very, very aggressively okay. And definitely behind the pack of like the really good teams in the East. Like, I think basically all of the really good teams in the NBA are like in the top 3 in the East at the moment. The teams you feel really confident in performing in the postseason. And the Sixers are not one of them. And I just don't think that really enough has changed for them to make like a huge impact in the postseason. But there's a lot of nice stuff going on. Like DeAnthony Melton has been such a fucking good pickup for them. Tobias Harris is, I think, finally understanding where he sits in the pecking order on this team. Embiid finally trying on defense a little bit. And yeah, like they're just getting freaking Tyrese Maxey back as well. So I think really, yeah, what will be the mustard on this sausage will be if Tyrese Maxey can get to the heights that he was at last season, and then they've kind of got like a slightly more established set of role players. That's my quick improvised 2 cents on the 76ers there.
I appreciate it. Well, for my 343 words, I was, for the first time in a while, I put on a 76ers game with the purpose of like watching it rather than just like, because you have lunch, you chuck on 30 minutes to 15 minutes of a game, you cut your toenails, you chuck on 10 minutes of a game. So I was watching the 76ers, but like actually watching them, and I was like, okay, cool, let's see what's going on with the Philadelphia 76ers. And Embiid's out right now, and I was like, I wonder how they look as a system without Embiid. And I was like, Milton shot a 3 from the right corner, and I was like, man, you're kind of happy with Shake Milton taking like 18 shots a game if like Embiid's out. And then Shake Milton checked in, and I was like, oh no, that's DeAnthony Melton. Yeah. So I completely fucking forgot that they had DeAnthony Melton. However, Harden, his passing, I feel like, has never left. Like they were icing his pick and roll with Montrez, and he was just cutting right through it with his passing. I think Harden doesn't necessarily like to play slow as much as he likes to play at his own pace, and Embiid's the same. And just stick with me for this point. I feel as though Harden playing at his, like, think of it like a Venn diagram. Harden playing at his pace and Embiid playing at his pace for most of the time aren't overlapping. But in that overlap is a very slow pace that I think they need to meet each other at. Rather than just like retaining their own sides of the diagram. And like doing like, it's not your turn, my turn, but there is still like a vibe of like just players getting their shots for the 76ers. And I think they have limited themselves with their personalities. Now, Rajon Tucker was recently on Annalie Maley's podcast. Rajon Tucker no longer plays in the NBA. But he said, you got some really humble guys like Giannis. They're on the topic of superstars. And he said, you got some really humble guys like Giannis. Then you got other guys who know who they are. So I then went on Rajon Tucker's basketball reference page. And he played for Utah in the 1920 season. Philly in the 2020-21 season. And then both Denver and Milwaukee in the 21-22 season. So you already said that Giannis is one of those humble guys. I'm willing to assume that Jokic is another one of those humble superstars, which leaves Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Joel Embiid. And so I get the feeling that also D-Mitch might be one of those more humble guys. But I do feel like D-Mitch has like an ego switch that he can turn on and off. Yeah. And then,
maybe effectively as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it just leaves Gobert, Embiid, and Simmons for those egos.
Yeah, right.
And I was saying it could be any one of them, but it could probably be all of them as well. So I just think that the 76ers are going to limit themselves. And when you compare what they're doing to like other superstar combos in the league, then I don't know. Then I feel like we've seen the best of the 76ers, and I think that now, having seen the first 40-ish games of this season, it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And don't you think like that point that the overlap between Harden and Embiid is quite slow? Just doesn't fit the rest of this roster at all. Like, Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey, D'Anthony Melton, Montrezl Harrell, like they're all like run and gun players. They're all just like push the pace. And so I think when like the big three on this team, I did freaking triple Edwards there.
Who is the big three?
I would say Embiid, Harden, Maxey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not Tobias Harris.
Yeah. I was just wondering.
I'd say when they're all healthy, like it really is your turn, my turn. Like, it's just kind of Maxey not letting the half court get quite set and just like sprinting to the key, or it's like, all right, we're gonna do the old school Harden thing, but like Embiid is there and Maxey is there, so maybe he will pass it, a bit earlier than he might have back in the day. And then Embiid is just like, I think he's just the fucking walking definition of like an ISO only big. Like he's just so rarely getting involved in action with other players. And like you said, like we know like what the peak of that is. It's pretty high, but it's not NBA championship high at all. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. And we said it on opening night on the Deep 2 for Men Move plus Marco, but we were talking about the 76ers and we were like, what do they need to do? They need to keep their offense going, and like they need to keep their pace up.
Yeah.
Or the players that aren't Embiid and Harden
need
to keep the pace up just so they have that as a weapon. And 40 games later, they still haven't addressed that. And when have we ever been wrong?
Yeah.
When putting our 5 minds together, when have we ever been wrong?
I think it's worth saying as well, like what you were saying about like that. Selfish superstar. It's not just like, it's not just literal. It's not just, okay, how much of the ball are they having? Like how little are they getting their team involved? It's like how little like chemistry builds around a player like Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Like you go look at the Boston Celtics, right? Like they have fucking Jason Tatum is a borderline MVP candidate, and then they've got like another sort of step down borderline all-star in Jaylen Brown. You never feel like those guys are like disrupting the chemistry by being superstars on that team. Like that team is just so locked in. Same with the Bucks. Like same with the Nuggets. Like what Jokic today against the Lakers, triple double. He took 5 shots. He hit all 5 of them, but he took 5 shots. Like there's just no like, all right, cool, I got to get involved in this about any of those players, and it's just all about like building chemistry and like making the team better. So that's it, I guess.
Well, speaking of superstars who don't have issues playing together, man, these fellas, KD and Kyrie, are just chilling it in Brooklyn. Do you have anything prepared for this?
Yes, a little bit more.
Okay, cool.
So what? I think they're 16 and 18 in their last 16 wins in their last 18 games.
I think it's 18.
Is it 18 in their last 20? Well, maybe it would be 16 in their last 18 as well.
It could be both. Poor Keno.
It's like just leading the league in everything since Steve Nash was fired.
Yeah.
Like actually every single statistical category, like, offensive rating, defensive rating, field goal percentage, blah, 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 blah. Like freaking babies kissed on the forehead. Everything you can imagine. And yeah, we touched on it last week. Kevin Durant having another MVP caliber season. Like his defense is sort of the glue that holds this team together. And like, I don't know, it still feels like they're doing it pretty quietly as well. Like,
it does.
I don't think anyone's really I don't think people are worried about the Nets yet. And I think they should probably start to be worried. I think we'll go into it in a bit more depth as we get further into this conversation. But like Kevin Durant has just been injured. So like the next few weeks will be like, okay, is it just like KD and Kyrie and complementary pieces? Or is it, which I would agree it is there like much more of a team here than is sort of like immediately, obvious.
Yeah. I think, well, actually, to go back to the Philadelphia 76ers, they are 12-3 in their last 15. And I think that they're looking good without Embiid. And I think the Nets will look okay without KD. But I don't think that they will. I think that they'll peter. Like, if it's, how long do you reckon he'll be out for?
Well, I reckon 5 weeks. That's gonna be
5 weeks.
That's gonna be my prediction.
Okay. Well, in their last 20 games, that's been over the past 6 weeks ish.
Well, let's say 6 weeks. Let's just call it an even 6.
And look, I mean, over the next 20 games, if they were to have KD, I wouldn't assume another 18-2. But I think that it'll be 12-8. Like, I think that they'll be 12-8 in that time. And look good. I think that's the most important thing, is that it looks like they've been building towards something. Their splits have been crazy in the last 20 games. They're shooting, as a team, 53, 41, 81 splits.
God.
Which is, you know, as you might assume, a couple free throws away from 50, 40, 90 per game. Yeah, fuck, man. And Yuta Watanabe, fucking 53% from 3 on the season.
66% on corner threes on the season.
Threes. And he's fucking there a lot.
Yeah.
Like, with KD and Kyrie at the helm, he is there a lot. I feel as though things have been quiet in Brooklyn because Kyrie's been quiet. And I think that most of their, like, narrative over the past few seasons, I mean, I'm not breaking any ground here, but has been what has been happening off the court and, like, what Kyrie's been saying. And so, I guess maybe the wider media got into a rhythm of covering that stuff and not covering what they do as a basketball team.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did touch on it last week, but they just look so, like, as a system, they're just working so fluidly, both offensively and defensively. And I still reckon that Steve Nash, just like the X's and O's... Oh, actually, no, he was a bad X's and O's basketball coach.
That was his worst part.
But I actually think that... I disagree. I'd say the worst part was that the players didn't like him. And I don't think that was part of... I don't think that was, like, his play calling. I think that was, like, a character thing. Because Jacques Vaughn got these guys, like, straight away. Like, straight away, they like, enjoyed playing for him.
Which is ridiculous because, like, Steve Nash was like a character hire. Like, they got him as like all right, we'll get like a superstar whisperer to whisper all our superstars.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work.
And I didn't realize, but Simo's back in the starting lineup. And from my viewing experience of the Nets, he's not in their closing lineup.
No.
But yeah, he's just fully embraced a role as a role player.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think he's just decided, like, okay, I'm just gonna be really, really solid. You know, like I'm good enough. Wait here, let me change the dimmer there for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that didn't really make much of a difference.
It's quite dim.
Technical difficulties, and we're back. Slate.
Yeah, like you said, he's just like, all right, I'm just gonna be like really, really solid at what I do. Not like let all the offensive stuff get to me. I still think like it's a bit like you got to be disappointed in Ben Simmons' career, sort of, because like he isn't this insane playmaker for this team. They're really like they're relying on everyone else to do the heavy lifting, and like there's other role players having a much bigger impact than he is, but he's just like, yep, cool, like I know what I need to do now. And it's got nothing to do with like, you know, there's no fucking New York Times article anymore where I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna do my thing, I'm gonna show out, like blah blah blah. It's like no, we're over all that. We've gotten over all of the media stuff to do with the Brooklyn Nets, and it's been really good for the Brooklyn Nets. Like the Kevin Durant requesting a trade, Kyrie Irving fucking not a peep, not a freaking peep from Kyrie Irving. And then that Ben Simmons sort of like redemption arc thing has just like very, very quietly gone to the side.
Yeah, it does feel as though the vibe around their team has changed from the start of the season. Like, take the Timberwolves, for example. I feel like they're still not answering questions that were like asked at the start of the season. And yeah, as you know, the Nets are just getting better and better and better. Fucking Nick Claxton has been filling the role of just like a center in the modern league so well. And I feel like it's to the point where you forget that he's young anymore. Like, you're just like, oh, sick, they've got their center. Like, you're not like, oh, okay, he's 23, he might figure it out soon. It's like, no, they've got a guy, they've got a 20-minute like per game center. That also like, and also he doesn't like demand or command like a starting like a starter's minutes. Like he's not begging for, like he's not like, fuck, I need my 30.
No, and he's not begging for more touches or anything either. He's like, yeah, cool, I'm an incredible finisher, so like give me that, and then I'm just gonna roam on defense, and that's basically it. Where do you reckon that like that boost from their role players has come from? Because it's come since Jacques Vaughn's been there. Do you reckon it's him, or do you reckon it's like Kyrie and KD's leadership? I reckon I'd say it's definitely got to be, if not Jock Vaughan, then absence of Steve Nash. If not absence of Steve Nash, then Jock Vaughan. But I do think whatever we say about KD and Kyrie, they're probably actually good locker room.
Yeah.
They're probably good locker room. They probably have a good effect on the locker room. I remember there was the second game this season where Royce O'Neal got a ridiculous tip in to win the game. And him and Kyrie just went straight into fucking like a 30-second handshake. And I think it's that. It's like a player like Royce O'Neal, who is a vet, has like so much respect for Kyrie, sort of like trust in what he'll do on the floor. And I think that sort of then trickles down to the less experienced players and the younger players. Is like, all right, cool. Like, we're seeing all this stuff about his attitude, but then like when we're in the locker room with him, it's a completely different experience. When we're on the floor with him, like, you really trust him to do whatever. Because I think that's the thing that's like never fallen out of Kyrie's game, is like you trust him to make the right decision. Like, I don't think he's really. You never really see him throw the game away. Even in that fucking game where
against the Heat.
Yeah, we pulled up from 35 feet. When they were 1 point down, and had like 10 seconds on the clock, and it was like you kind of felt like it was going to end up okay,
Were you watching that game?
Yeah.
When he shot it, I was like, oh my god, it's
yeah.
Oh, fuck. I was gonna say genius. I think that was a conversation we had off air. I might just give the cliff notes of that conversation. Everyone, you got to stop saying the word genius so much. Jake Paul is not a genius. Elon Musk is not a genius.
Kyrie Irving, you're not a genius.
Not a genius. Joe Rogan's not a genius. However, when he shot that, I was like, oh my god, it's genius. Because like the Nets had him on the glass.
Yeah.
Kyrie had like, at least he got his shooting form. At least he got to his shooting form.
Yeah.
With 8 seconds to go, which gives them plenty of time to get that rebound. And then it's as you said, Royce O'Neal. I actually brought up his basketball reference page to see how tall he was, so I could call him Royce the 6'4", or his other nickname on Basketball Reference, which is Big Meal.
Wow,
Big Meal Royce O'Neal.
He do be eating.
But he has been so important for them this season. I feel as though he's been like this, like he's playing at like a very pivotal role, and he's been so dependable and. He's been the type of player that ends up on every contender. Like, there's always this guy that just makes up for everyone else's mistakes. And like, and he won't make mistakes himself. And he just allows other players a freedom to make their mistakes and like be creative. And where other players might boom bust more, Royce O'Neal is just like a steady figure. And it feels crazy to say that about him since like, it just felt like he was dumped on the Nets at the start of the season. But he's been incredible. Like, he's been so good for this team.
I think at the beginning of the season, it was like too much Royce O'Neal. You remember when they were really struggling at the beginning? I was like, why does he have the ball on every possession? It's because like no one else knew what they were doing. Like, Ben Simmons was terrible, and for lack of a better word, Kyrie wasn't playing, and KD. I don't think KD had really fully embraced like that he was going to be on this Brooklyn team for the rest of the season. And so it was up to Royce O'Neal to like pick everyone up by their bootstraps and like run the offense basically. But now this is like the value that you get from him is like you said, he's just not a guy who makes mistakes. He hits open threes. He defends the best wing on the other team, and like he's sort of a handy secondary playmaker as well. So, and just looking at this Nets roster, it looks so much better than you felt about it about 2 months ago. Yeah,
man, looking at their roster, so many players are shooting above league average from three.
Yeah,
They got 6 guys, let's call it 5 guys, shooting above 40% from 3, with one of them being Day'Ron Sharpe shooting 80% on 5 total attempts.
That's good though.
But it does feel like all those other role players are now just like like since Jacques Vaughn's taken over, it's like you guys are going to be completely off ball, but you're going to be so deadly when you're off ball.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be moving, you're going to be setting screens, you're going to be catching and shooting, and when you get that ball, you're going to be fucking shooting that ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to be cutting, you're going to be causing like absolute chaos. If the ball is in KD's hands, it's already scary enough for the D. So you like make the most of like whatever you're doing off ball, because it does feel like they're running plays like quite a lot more than they used to.
Yeah.
But it also does feel like they're freestyling a lot more and just playing much more connected when they do freestyle. And yeah, it's just like who's your favorite Nets role player now?
This was a thing like 2 seasons ago. It would change every week.
No, it was backup center.
Yeah, that's right.
Reggie Perry.
I think it's got to be Yuta at the moment.
I'm Edmund Sumner.
Like he's barely even playing anymore.
I know he's still shooting 93%.
I was just getting his basketball reference up because I wanna. He had some fucking like huge scoring games earlier in the season, didn't he? And now it's like he's just absolutely relegated to a role.
Yeah.
Not for the detriment of the team or anything. What did he have? Yeah, he had okay, well they weren't huge, but he had like for someone I fucking didn't know anything about, and then he had 18, 11, 13, 18 on like really good shooting.
Yeah.
You know, back to back. That was impressive. But yeah, I mean, Yuta, just because he's hitting everything, and his expression when Kyrie got that put back tomahawk dunk was actually my favorite thing ever. He was just so happy.
Yeah. The Nets currently have 3 players shooting the 40-90 parts of the 50-40-90 shooting splits. They got Markieff Morris, who, I mean, I would never celebrate him, but I don't know. I feel good about the Nets now, so I'm happy to let that one slide. But Seth Curry, I completely even forgot was like a part of this team.
Yeah.
And then also I feel like he's like been one of those players that has just benefited from a minimized role. And Patty Mills is shooting 42% from 3 this season and 93% from the old free throw line.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And barely getting a look in as well. But that speaks to the depth of this team. Is Patty Mills was like the go-to 3-point role player last season, and he can't even get a look in. And yeah, that thing with Seth Curry, like when he was in Philly, like, I mean, he played really well, but like he'd often have to be the playmaker. Like there was a lot of minutes not a lot, but a lot for a guy like Seth Curry. There's a lot of minutes every night where he was like playing point basically. And now, he can just be completely reduced to like catch and shoot, doing a little tiny bit of on ball action. But you know, when you've got Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, there's not really much of that ball to go around. Yeah,
and I feel like that was a product of the 76ers and potentially Doc Rivers' lack of creativity. Because when they had JJ Redick, there was so much JJ Redick.
Yeah.
Like potentially way too much JJ Redick and like dribble handoffs and him shooting off balance threes for like what the team should have been. Although maybe I'm being an asshole and that was actually Brett Brown. Which
I think there's a crossover.
You reckon there was a crossover?
There was definitely
there?
A crossover there.
A crossover no one asked for.
He was definitely there on the that
was Brett Brown.
Yeah. Was it only Brett Brown?
It seems like it. Okay.
Well, the point still stands. What have you made of TJ Warren so far?
Bubba Warren. I have not made much of him, I'll be honest. I was going to ask though, and this might be too hard to answer on the spot, but who do you reckon... Would you rather have TJ Warren or Victor Oladipo on your team?
Fuck.
Because I think that it would be Oladipo for me.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning.
I think it's a bit more of a steady pick than TJ Warren, but I think he's looked really good.
Yeah.
Like every time it still feels like they're working him into their system.
Definitely.
But he's still like... I feel like he's doing a lot with what he's being given. He's probably, I would say, what's it called? Playing amongst his means, like outside of
above his means,
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, but like outside of his bounds as well.
Right.
Just kind of just two ways of saying the same thing. But I feel as though they're getting more out of him than you would expect from a player like just working their way back into shape.
Definitely. But you know, there's no pressure There's no pressure for him to do more than what he's doing right now. And again, it's just an awesome value add.
Yeah.
Especially if he can even, touch, like, obviously he's just not gonna get enough touches to do what he did in the bubble. But if he can even sort of get close to that level of play, it's just such a huge value add for the Nets.
Yeah.
Especially during the regular season, if you got Kevin Durant, missing time, and you got Kyrie missing time.
And also on this stretch, chucking him out for 20 minutes and 8 shots is like so low risk and like potentially high reward.
Yeah.
And then also if he does like refine that form for like a game per playoff series, then that's a game that's going to win.
Yeah.
If KD and Kyrie are having bad games, they'll combine for 45.
Yeah.
And then if you get 20 from TJ Warren, that's 65. You only need to find 35 more points.
Yeah, you're halfway there to 100.
And first to 100 does win. They are playing first to 100 Elam ending.
Oh, what is this? The most interrupted episode of all time.
Oh, bro, what the hell? How you going, bro?
Hey, DMG.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy freaking New Year.
What's
going on?
Weekend.
It's got a cat.
Nice. I think this is actually the
Oh,
most...
hey, buddy. How are you?
What do you guys been up to?
You got a little hibachi grill out there, bud.
Yeah, Ella got it for me for Christmas.
That's fucking dope.
And we're back.
For a third and final
For the
time.
third and final time.
So, not sure where we left it.
Well, on the other side of the coin of basketball things we don't talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah. Who've actually recently been the Win Angeles Lakers.
Yes, as in they've been winning a few games and losing others.
And not losing many. I think they're on a 6-game winning streak.
Well, they lost to the Nuggets today.
Oh, okay. Before that.
They were on a 5-game winning streak. They're 8-6 in their last 14.
That's not that good.
But it is a severe improvement from the Lakers team that we've come to grow and love. Actually, sorry, that's what I wanted to say. They're 8-6 since AD went down.
Yes.
So they were playing very poorly at the start of the season. They were playing quite well when AD, came back and started, dropping 35 and 20 night in, night out. And then they've been pretty okay.
Yeah.
Since then, I think LeBron's missed 3 of those games, including today's loss to the Denver Nuggets. He has been averaging over that stretch 34, 7, and 7 on 57% from the field. And I think just kind of getting lost in this, late December, early January barrage of players dropping 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 night in, night out. But that's pretty impressive for a 38-year-old.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, if you can get those numbers, you go get them. But I also feel like LeBron and the Lakers play has been going under the radar because LeBron just keeps coming out with like, man, love getting these numbers, but I'm not going to do it on a team that doesn't make the playoffs. And then he comes out the next year and was like, no, I wasn't saying that I don't want to be here. I was saying that we're going to make the playoffs. We're going to start playing better as a team, etc., etc. I think that they're just having a nice stretch, but they aren't legit by any stretch of the imagination. And I feel like every month since the start of the 2020-21 season has been, so that's since the bubble championship, has been like, oh, if you can just get 50 games out of LeBron and 50 from AD, to then, if you just can get 30 games of AD and LeBron together, to then, they just need a month or 2 to gel. And then, honestly, just the 10 games before the playoffs, if they can all play together, then, we should be right as rain. We should be good to go.
And then who wants our 2027, 2029 first round draft pick?
Those are still out there if anyone wants that. But yeah, I just, we don't talk about any other serious team in that way. We're just like, okay, cool, this team is good, this team is producing, this team keeps winning. And I know that neither of us are calling them contenders or pretenders. No. But I think that it's fun. It's a fun January story to follow, but it won't matter in the playoffs.
Yeah. I would completely agree with that. But I do think they have... I think Darvin... we mentioned this sort of off mic, but I think Darvin Ham is a good coach. He's definitely improving as the season gets on, and he's getting things out of these players. This is genuinely the worst roster in the league outside of a tanking team. Genuinely. But like, for example,
No. Never mind.
Since AD went down, Thomas Bryant has been the starting center for the Lakers.
Wizards a legend. Thomas
Wizards
Bryant.
fucking legend. Your guy, TYG, Thomas Bryant. He's averaging 17 points, 10 rebounds. He's shooting 68 from the floor, 55 from three. And like his defense has not looked good. I'll just say that. But that's like a pretty good pickup for someone who looked completely lost, coming back from his injury at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he had a season he shot 42.9% from three over the season, and as all NBA fans know, that's 3 of 7 from the three. That wasn't his volume.
No, he's shooting 1.5 a game at the moment.
Yeah. But the thing with Thomas Bryant that I got to learn was that when he got which he never got 40 games in a row, but when he got like a good solid chunk of basketball in a row, or just like miss 1 or 2 games out of every 10, then after like a few months, he actually looked really good defensively, and he always made really silly mistakes, usually due to his footwork, because he had the strength, he just never knew how to put himself in the right position. And that's what this team's gonna need. They're not gonna need, the numbers are gonna come from those other 3 guys, and it's the D that they need help with. I was going to say before, please, Darvin is my son's name. Call me Mr. Ham. And he is Darvin Ham Sr.
Really?
So it does work.
He's senior.
Yeah. You'll never guess
I
what his son's name is.
thought you were going to say he was Darvin Ham Jr. or Darvin Ham 2.
No, because he can say...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it now. I do get it now. Anything else you like about this Lakers team?
Dude. I'm looking at Darvin Ham's playing career. If we want to just swiftly move onto that, he played for the Austin Toros in the G League.
Great franchise, by the way.
The D League, it was called back then. The Albuquerque Thunderbirds, and before that,
the Albuquerque Thunderbirds.
Yeah,
what a great name.
And before that, the Talk and Text Phone Pals, which is now the TNT Tropang Giga, which is, I'm not too sure.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's a Philippine long-distance phone company.
But he played for them.
Yeah.
He played basketball for them.
Yeah. In the Philippine Basketball Association.
Oh, fucking now I have seen everything.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so they were the Talk and Text Phone Pals when he was playing for them. They then rebranded to the Talk and Text Tropang Texters. And then just the TNT Tropang Texters. Unbelievable what you can do.
What are you saying to me?
This is what he's been up to since his departure from the NBA.
God, that's so fucking funny. Wow.
But I don't have much to say for the 2022-23 Lakers this season.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think you read it completely right. Like they're gonna sniff around the play-in, and then I don't think there's you absolutely cannot be under the illusion that if they get into the play-in and then if they get the 7th or the 8th seed, that they will like win a playoff series.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any level of LeBron and AD, I don't think, Westbrook, but he's in this refined role, like he knows what he's doing now. I don't think Dennis Schroeder shooting 40% from the three, I don't think any of that gets you a playoff.
Westbrook's in sex mode.
Yeah. Is that what they say?
I think so.
Russell Westbrook the second?
The third.
The third.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook
crazy,
the third.
man.
That's a fact.
And that baby he rocking? Russell Westbrook the fourth.
Did you wanna mention something about Zion's injury?
Well, should we talk about before we recorded this episode? It feels like a fucking lifetime ago. We watched the JVG Bowl, as it's called around these parts. The Washington Wizards versus the New Orleans Pelicans. What did you make of the game, Lucas? You looked like you weren't enjoying it.
I wasn't enjoying it. I liked the first 10 points because they were all ours. And then from that point, it was just fucking beat down. I didn't like the way we closed out the first half. We were very lazy with our passing. And then also defensively, we were just not there. And we just quit on the game. And you guys are a good team. And you can't do that against a good team, regardless of if they don't have Zion and Brandon Ingram. You guys work well as a system with them there and without them there. And yeah, you made us pay for, I guess, being ourselves.
I don't know, it's quite it's strange watching the Wizards because I really like most of your starters. Like, Bradley Beal's his own beast. So is Kristaps Porzingis. But like Monty Morris is such an absolute bucket, and he was just getting those deep twos that were like almost contested, but not quite, where he got them off like just before the defender could get their hand up, and they were money every single time.
Yeah,
like he never ever misses that shot.
Yeah,
Kyle Kuzma was like the only Wizard who really looked like he wanted to win the game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summation.
I think he hit back-to-back step-back threes.
Yeah.
Finished the first quarter with 13 points. And yeah, he was just really going for it. Like, hit two freaking like Jordan reverse layups.
Yeah, like he did in Game 6.
Yeah, exactly. Like he went Game 6 mode. He went Kyle Kuzma Game 6.
Which is adjacent to Westbrook's sex mode.
And then, yeah, Corey Kispert, like, in the first quarter, he hit that fucking, like, he was just hitting those catch and shoots three where he doesn't even catch them. He just, like, he kisses them into the net. But then, yeah, as soon as Rui or Denny come on,
oh, man,
like, everything sort of crumbles. You know, like, Denny, we've spoken at length about how we don't like him. Rui's really, like, I just don't know the point of him.
Yeah.
I just don't know the point of him on this Wizards team, especially on offense. Like, you don't, like, what does he do when he doesn't have the ball? You know, like, he hit one really good corner three, like a really nice, confident catch and shoot. But apart from that, like, he he stands on the wing and he like has his hands like this, like, give me it, and they're like, oh no, we're not going to give it to you. And he's like, oh. Well, then I don't know what to do. Like I'm not going to move around. I'm not going to cut. I'm not going to move to the corner. So yeah, it's sort of like all the juice falls out of your game when some of those guys come off the bench. And I think, yeah, like what you said, that yeah, there was just they weren't switched on. And like, I know we used to be like the least fucking switched on team in the league. We loved turning it over. We loved giving it away in the fourth quarter. I think since the CJ trade, since, you know, the emergence of like Jose and Herb, and obviously Willie Green, like, we have become just a team that doesn't. We still turn the ball over, but like, if we turn the ball over, we're all getting back, you know, and we're switched on in those late game situations. So yeah, I think, and that felt like the gulf more than like the talent, because like, you know, I mean, I think obviously, I think we have the better roster, but that felt like the difference for me today.
Yeah.
There's turnovers and like what you do when you commit them.
Yeah. I feel as though I've been, you know, a big fan of Wes Unseld Jr. as a coach. However, I think some of his rotations are a bit random. Like, we go from starting two centers to then finishing the quarter with three wings on. And it's just like, I'm not sure what the idea is. Like, and there's no consistency throughout, like what momentum are we continuing from having like this double big lineup to then having these wings on the court. So I just don't really get what that means. And then also, when you have Denny and Rui on the court at the same time, that's just two guys you don't need to worry about as the other team. And they don't play beyond their means, and their means are very, very limited. And I think it's getting to the point where it's like, it's kind of too late to trade Rui now, I feel. And it might not be too late to trade Denny yet, although I personally wouldn't take him if I was another team. But I think that there might still be value for Denny. And I think this team's in like desperate need of a trade. And it's like, oh, you know, these guys are still young. But it's like, yeah, but they're shit. Like, they're not good. So I don't know what we're holding on to.
And what, Rui's been with you, what? Is he in his fourth season?
I think this is Y4 now.
Yeah, and Denny's 3.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah, you don't get many chances on the team that drafted you after that, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, like, if you're not having an impact, that kind of feels like it.
Yeah. Well, before we say goodbye, I wrote an article that's on Fansided about D'Angelo Russell. Feel free not to read it. Fansided in the Slack chat, they always offer all these articles, and I'm like, I just want to get my reps up, so I just like take some of the articles from time to time. But it's about like, should it contend to trade for D'Lo, and I just wrote some bullshit.
I thought it was good.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, you searched it?
Well, no, I think you linked it.
Really?
Oh no, I searched it. Yeah, I went on fansided.com and I went to Lucas Petridis and I was like, hey, he's been writing a few articles, but he hasn't been like posting everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess it was a silly season, you know.
No, also I share my stuff on the Deep too and my WNBA stuff, which I wanted to be just women's basketball, but Fansided was very strictly on like it's got to have a WNBA angle.
Right.
But like the NBA stuff I write for Fansided, I don't share.
Yeah, right. Okay. Right.
Anyhow,
I see what you're saying. And hey, congrats on getting a thousand reads in your first month with fansided.com.
$1 coming my way.
So pay up.
Yeah.
Give me 50%.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys next week then.
All right, catch ya.
Bye.